was a stunning garden that we've just shown you. And yes, it did have quite a bit of paving in it, but amazingly enough, if you use the right proportion and scale, it doesn't look too overpowering. And if you ever tries to put it down, well, today we're going to show you all the basic steps, how to get it right and how to just finish it off so that it really does look perfect. As with any work in your garden, what's most important is your preparation. So once you've decided on your area, what you're going to do is remove any grass that you had there. And that's what we've done in the spot already. We've removed the grass and we've put down just some river sand, ordinary river sand, and then we've taken the back of the spade and given it a good banging. So we really have just made sure that it's nice and compact and level so that we've got a good surface to work off. And now the pavers. The choice of paver that we've got today is absolutely fantastic. This is a sandstone paver and it's from Visser, and they have different colors, a huge range and different sizes. It really is a beautiful paver. You can see by just the different markings in it. Now remember, this is a natural product, so it's going to work really well in terms of drainage and porosity as well. So this is our choice of paver, and we're going to get started in putting these guys down. First things first is to make sure that we've got a straight line to work off. Now, because we've got the trellis work up here, it already is forming a straight edge for us. If you didn't have that, most important is to put down some fish line and making sure that that is straight. But we're lucky here, we've got a straight line to work off. So first things first is put in the paver, placed, make sure it's nice and snug, give it a bit of a smack with a mallet. All we got to do is make sure that we use a rubber mallet, give it a bit of a gentle smack to make sure that it's nice and placed, and then of course the spirit level. Let's just check it out, see how our levels are doing. We need to pick it up slightly on this edge, and then what we do is we just push in a little bit of river sand underneath it to make sure that we're working on the right levels. And then we just carry on with the next ones. What we need to do now is make sure that we're going in the right direction and making sure that our pavers are straight. So we've got this over here, and it's called a straight edge. You can get it from any hardware store. Put it against your pavers and look at that. If you need to adjust them, you just move them a little bit. Now, the other important thing that we're going to be doing today is we're going to be using grouting in between our pavers, just to make sure that they're staying permanently in their place, and we're going to be using a cement-based product. But to make sure that we get the spaces right, we've just got a little bit of wood that we've cut to make a spacer. And all that we do is, once we've put down a paver, you just pop it into its place to make sure that your spaces are even and consistent throughout your paving. And it really is as easy as that. Just pop it in right, space is good to go. Let's carry on with the next paver. Last paver is in, and it's looking really neat. Now the important part is to get the grouting done, and we're going to show you how to do the mixture and get it right. Garth, you're doing the prep for the grouting. What are we using?
We're using 3-in-1 mix, Tanya. It's 3 plaster sand, which must be a nice fine sand, and 1 part of cement.
Okay, so, and I think the trick is never to mix too much.
That's correct.
Rather you have too little, because what are you going to do with it when it's ended up?
That's correct, Tanya.
And also, you know, when the plastering sand, you can see it's really nice and fine, so it's going to give you a very good slick finish. But remember, in plastering sand, you always do end up with a few sticks, hey? Right. So we need to get rid of those as we're mixing. Right, 3 parts plaster sand. Cool. Once we've mixed the dry mixture together, to make sure that we've got a nice even consistency of the cement and the plastering sand, what we then do is add a bit of water. Many people always ask me, well, how much water do you add to it? Well, at the end of the day, it's kind of like what you want to do is make sure you got the right consistency. And take a look at this. This is like a runny yogurt. Look at it. It just slops off the spade. That's exactly what we want, because we want it to be quite a wet mixture that we're going to use with the grouting. Nice and runny, nice and gooey. Check at that. Perfect. That's just what we need. We've got our mixture, and now comes the fun sloppy part. Just with using a little builder's trowel, simple as that, you're going to take some of your mixture that you've already got, and all you're going to do is put it in between like that, work it in with your little trowel. And then you're going to take a squeegee like this that you get from your hardware store with a nice bit of rubber on the edge. And all you're going to do is make sure that we're going to get it all into the little grooves that we've got here. When you're working with this, just use the edge of it and just try and really work it in to the gaps that you've got here to make sure that there are no air pockets. And all you do is smooth it over. There we go, looking cool. And then the excess that you've got, all you do is just work that off. Try and keep it as clean as possible. And what I would suggest that you do at this point is you can really do about 4 linear meters. That's the maximum you should do when you are doing this type of grouting as an application. But just to show you how it should be done is once you've done that is then to take a sponge and a bit of water, and then you've got to clean it off. Now this requires lots of patience. And you might be asking, well, why am I being so pedantic about this? Well, the thing is that this is sandstone, and sandstone is very porous, which means that the cement is just going to suck right into it. And of course, if we had to leave the cement on here, it actually is going to stain your pavers, and that is really what we not want. So make sure that it's really cleaned out nicely. Do it while you're working at it, and the job is much easier to get done. The grouting is finished, and it really is looking so much better already. Finishing it off, neatening it up, and by adding it in, it really wasn't that bad. Quite easy to do. So now what do? Well, you leave it for about 48 hours before you go and walk on it again. Allow it to dry. If you find that you're having really, really hot temperatures in those 2 days, what I would do is get your hose pipe with a very, very fine, fine sprinkle of water and just sprinkle it on so that it allows and it stops the grouting from cracking, because that is important. If it does dry too quickly, you do find that you sometimes do get hairline cracks in it. But that's really about it. In terms of the sandstone, you can put on a sealer, which is optional, which you once again can get from your local hardware store. Our little patio is complete, and doesn't it look groovy? And in fact, I'm sitting on the bench that we made a few weeks ago. The grouting is done, complete. Put a pot on either side, and yep, this is a pretty cool place to hang out. In the pot on my left, I've got an aloe hedgehog, which is a fantastic container aloe. It flowers right throughout the winter, stays nice and compact, not going to get much taller than this, and of course loves the sun and can cope in an area that gets about a half-day sun as well. And in this little guy over here, I've got an angelonia with violas, which of course go right through the winter months. And as long as you keep deadheading them, well, they're going to continue to give you loads and loads of pressure. So folks, it's as easy as that. Create a little patio, get the grouting done properly, and look what you can end up with. Till next week, do take care and happy gardening.